Dayton Mayor Charles Long and Councilwoman Shelley Newman both voted against the original decision. In this area, there was very little water, so they had to request extra engines. I'm going to step out of the way here so you can get a better shot. And according to this temperature gun, things have warmed up a little bit. It's now 25 degrees here on the pavement. I'm about to beat Brad to the bottom of the hill. I'm ready. A park and ride facility containing between 150 and 180 parking spots. She did not just tell me how to work off the candy. She showed me and did not take it easy. The town took his name in 1884. And by 1890, it grew into Shenandoah City. Citizens signed a petition for the RHSPCA to become a no. Immigrants as young as 14 there say they were beaten, locked away in solitary confinement for long periods of time, and left naked and alone in cold cells. The doors opened here at 6 this morning, and they'll be closing at 7 tonight. If you live here in the valley, you've probably found yourself next to a farm-use vehicle or a large truck on the road at some point. And if you're one of those drivers, you know that the rules and regulations about how long you can drive and how far you can go change.
And a couple in the valley has displayed flags and crosses in their front yard for 10 years.
Now they want to remind people of the true purpose of Memorial Day. Monica Casey spoke with the display organizers about what goes into the project. Monica?
Well, the idea for Gregory and Anna Long began with holding flags over bridges on Interstate 81 to welcome motorcycles for Rolling Thunder. It expanded from there. This year, they will display just under 5,000 flags and 300 crosses in their front yard.
My father served, my grandfather served, I served.
Painstaking measurements.
Yeah, I like that.
Sweat and blisters. And a lot of time.
My wife hand irons every single flag before we put it out.
To create the display.
It's not about the picnics. It's not about the hot dogs. It's not about going camping. It's not about any of that. It's about the men and women who fought for our country and lost their lives in service of our country so we could have the freedoms that we do have.
Gregory's favorite part, seeing the people who visit.
Gratitude and the grace and the tears and just sitting and talking to them.
This will be the last year, but the Longs hope someone else can continue the tradition.
We want to pass this on to some place that is going to be able to give these the exposure they deserve.
And carry the torch.
You know, they've paid the ultimate price for what we have here, and this is just a small gratitude that we can pay them.
You can go by 850 Redbud Road anytime. Lights are on the display at night. Long says the time commitment has become too much for him and his wife, but if anyone is interested in taking over the endeavor, you can reach out on the STRASBURG Flag Display Facebook page. The Associated Press reports that poems in the anthology Dreaming America were written by immigrant children in the Shenandoah Valley Juvenile Center. Washington and Lee professor Seth Michelson published the book working with a Washington and Lee undergraduate class this past fall. He cannot confirm where they were working, but there are 2 maximum security detention centers in the country, one in California and one near Stanton.
I dream of discovering a world where nothing would matter more than what you carry within.
Dreaming America is a collection of poems written by immigrant children in a maximum security prison.
They're all from one institution where I have been volunteering to lead poetry workshops.
The book is a window into the minds of incarcerated children.
Sueño con ser el presidente de mi país. There are a lot of poems about sadness, loneliness, isolation, self-harm. Why? If we're all human beings.
They aren't all despairing.
We're equal.
They also write about their dreams.
Wanting to come here, wanting to make friends, wanting to become a chef, a musician, a mechanic, a lawyer, a doctor, a teacher. La frontera, the border.
Michelson says poetry is a unique way for incarcerated people to communicate.
It's good to speak it. It's a pleasure to hear it. The language is very musical and enrapturing.
Some of the children were illiterate.
They were capable of tremendous trust and generosity of spirit and compassion and humor.
Michelson says since these children are here in our care, it's our responsibility to nurture them.
Helping them to reclaim that sometimes dampened or darkened space in their imagination of joy and love and kindness, compassion.
Attorneys for the immigrant teens alleging abuse in the Shenandoah Valley Juvenile Center are pushing ahead with a federal civil rights lawsuit. The book's publishing company, Settlement House, donates all proceeds from book sales to a legal fund for detained immigrant children, allowing them to write their way to freedom. The Senate unanimously passed Senator Obenshain's bill to study truck tolls along I-81.
We're going to look at tolls on long-haul heavy trucks that travel the length of Virginia and explore whether that can be done in a manner that isn't going to hurt our economy.
I think tolls need to be imposed on everyone, not just the trucks.
JKC Transport has been in business for 19 years.
And we travel the I-81 route every day.
5 drivers travel up to 300 miles around Virginia, Maryland, and Pennsylvania.
A toll can be anywhere from $48 to $78.
Tolls wouldn't just affect truck drivers.
That cost is passed down to the supplier we're hauling for. So then it will be added to the freight cost and back into the consumer. You have larger trucking companies in there, but the smaller business guys come in and take over what some of the larger ones can't necessarily take care of.
Avoiding 81 isn't an option thanks to electronic logging devices that force drivers to use the most time-sensitive route.
I have a family, just like my truck drivers have a family, and if you tax the trucks, it comes off my bottom line, whereas it affects bonuses, pay raises, to help out my drivers' families.
Amy Fung suggested Virginia follow the lead of Tennessee to raise money for road improvements. Police officers used an undercover semi as a perch to spot texters and violators and then mail them tickets.